Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with a brand new review for a brand new show. Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Season 3 Episode 1. Child, the heifers is acting up on Season 3. Do y'all hear me? This is the Porsha and Giselle show. And y'all know how I feel about Gizzard. And it's like a catch-22 because I feel like Giselle thinks she's bringing Potomac to Thailand. She's already producing scenes, already getting into it, already giving her 2 cents, telling people what they ain't gonna do and how they ain't gonna do it. Let's just get into it. When the episode first opens up, Porsha is narrating episode 1, basically. She is still thinking it's 265 days in a year, child. She's so confused. What did he say about Porsha? Porsha got that go naked hair on that go naked head, honey, and she don't know what's going on. Poor thing, honey. She took some time off, so she couldn't remember if she was supposed to look at the producers or look at the camera. Girl, it ain't been that long. You took 1 season off, and you have done confessionals outside of that. Remember when you was down in Mexico fighting and clawing Dennis's mama's eyes out? Do whatever you did down there in that confessional. Moving forward. So they asked her what she thought about the ladies, and she said the Salt Lake cousins have lots of drama. Insert Heather and Whitney, or as Porsha likes to call them, Heather Graham and Whitney Houston. I can't deny the heifer crazy. The heifer is funny, but baby, when she called them two Heather Graham and Whitney Houston, I hollered. Anywho, over in New York, Leah and her Balenciaga Crocs, they're getting ready. She ain't got nobody to talk to but her mama. Tinsley Mortimer was originally supposed to be where Porsha is. So Tinsley was like, I don't really like Leah like that, so I ain't going. So then they called up P. Willie, and that's how we got Porsha. So anywho, Porsha said, Leah likes to get it going. So, she's just so New York, and she seems cool. Child, that's gonna change. So then Porsha admits for Candiace and Giselle, they gonna need a whole other show. Well, baby, they already had a whole nother show, and we need a break from Gizzard, and we need a break from Potomac. So say what you're gonna say about the heifers, and let's move on. So then we meet Pepsi, who is a concierge, not to be confused with Coke. Y'all know I love a little corny joke, honey. He knows English because he's watched movies with English in it. He said he speaks Tinglish. As far as the Miami ladies, she said, they're BFFs, so I don't know if they're going to be able to deal with the real, because we're going to have to get down to the nitty gritty. We see Giselle, she's FaceTiming Candiace, which confuses me because didn't y'all just get through filming season 7? Now, when this was being filmed, the reunion had not yet been filmed. So I don't want people to be confused, but the mere fact that this woman accused your husband of something that you cussed her out about when y'all got to the reunion is confusing to me. I guess, honey, they're doing it in pairs. Okay, it's giving get on Noah's Ark, honey. Everybody comes in twos. We have 2 Potomac people, we have 2 Salt Lake City people, we have who else is on here? We have 2 Miami people. They were supposed to have 2 New York, but of course New York and Atlanta split. And I think it was kind of for the best because I cannot see Tinsley being a part of this group. She fits in more with Ramona and Sonia. Or Serona, honey, as I like to call them. All the ladies are talking about who they know and what they expect. And in the middle of it all, as Porsha is narrating this first episode, Jen Shaw was sentenced. Honey, it's giving guilty. By Shawshank Redemption, honey, you shouldn't have stole from the people. I don't feel bad for Jen at all. Everybody's like, she's more likable than Erica Jane. They're both crooks. Okay, it's giving crooks. So they get to the house. Of course, Giselle arrives first, and she's ready to get the mess started. She immediately starts saying, I can't wait till Heather gets here so I can ask her about Jen. This ain't Potomac. This ain't Phaedra. Just hold on, Giselle. My God. Heather arrives. She's excited to see people from other franchises. It's giving very much pick me. She wants to fit in. She's so excited to see people that are doing it big outside of Salt Lake City, honey, because they don't get to travel outside of there. So she is super excited. So she comes in. She sits down. Heather just happy to be here, child. She just happy to be there. She just happy to have a seat at the table. Giselle looks at Heather and she's like, what's the 411 with Jen? Of course, Heather gonna ride till the wheels fall off. And she's like, well, all I know is when she went in, she trying to explain it, child. She's guilty. We don't want to hear nothing else about it. Moving forward. So after the initial meet and greet, Pepsi takes them to the spiritual house. That's where they will say prayers and hope for the best. So they are all praying that everything goes well. So off to the side, Alexia and Marisol, they're speaking Spanish to each other. And so Giselle is like, could y'all not? Okay, why are y'all doing that? Like, what's going on? And they're looking at each other like, girls say, well, now we're not even talking to you and we're talking in private. Okay. And she was like, that's the rule number one. We're not going to do that. And Marisol said, Earth to Giselle, my rule is you don't make no rules for me. Okay. I'm going to do what I want to do. Giselle thinks she is in charge of the girls wherever she goes. Ma'am, you don't run nothing but your mouth. Nothing. You need to worry about you. See, the thing is, she wants to be able to control everyone. And if she loses control, then she gonna lose her damn mind. So after the initial meet and greet, the heifers go to find their rooms already assigned because we know how they like to do. Leah is pissed because her room is a closet with no view. Pepsi got a thing for Peach Juice Williams. Do y'all hear me? So she got the best room. I said Pepsi must have put all their pictures down. And gave them their rooms based on those pictures. He done been to everybody's Instagram. And he done seen Porsha. He done saw Porsha and all that donk. And he was like, oh, okay. Porsha about to puck it up in Phuket. So I'm going to go ahead and give her the best room. So when Porsha saw her room, she going to say, oh, Bravo trying to woo me. Oh, they gave me the best room. The producer said, girl, for the last time, this is Peacock. She talking about, huh? Oh, give it all to me. Porsha is a nut. Porsha is a nut. She is in a constant state of confusion. Same Porsha, different franchise. This is just ignorance. Girl, this is Peacock. Now, I can see how she would get confused because the heifers is coming over from Bravo, but then Miami, their home is Peacock. And child, why Heather tried to shade Alexia when it came to the franchise? And we're going to get to that in a minute. So Leah, of course, wants to know from Pepsi, what I do to you? Why on earth do I have this room? But then she was like, but I'm cool. It's fine. It's okay. Leah, I don't think Pepsi is a fan of Roni. It's either that or he looked at your Instagram. Either one, you're going to sleep in that closet tonight. So Giselle goes into Portia's room to be messy. And she's like, Portia's like, Candiace is cool. Why everybody think we gonna have it out? Cause y'all are. And because the people are stuck in season 5. So whatever goes on between the two of you, you best believe the people on the Twitter are gonna have something to say. Meanwhile, Candiace is briefing Whitney and Leah on not trusting Giselle. She was like, listen, y'all cannot trust Giselle. Whatever y'all do, whatever y'all say will be held against you in the court of the Real Housewives growing up, Ultimate Girls Trip, growing up hip hop, whatever this thing is called. Do not tell this woman your business because she will use it against you and it's going to be in the papers, in the blogs. It's going to be everywhere. So keep your business to your damn self. Candiace is like, she is dedicated to chaos. And is. Back in the room with Porsha and Giselle, Giselle is talking about how Heather is holding down Jen and basically throwing Whitney under the bus. And so Porsha was like, well, what you want her to do? You want her to say F you? And Giselle was like, I mean, I would be mad at her. I would be like, girl, I would have kept your secret. Like, you can tell me I'm your friend. You lied to my face. You're guilty. Porsha looked at Giselle. She said, you keep a secret? She said, you already ready to tell the girl F her and don't drop the soap. Girl, goodbye. Giselle was like, I just want to know the business. So we need to hear him get to lunch so we can get into the business. Porsha said, do we even know their last names? Here go Giselle. Heather. Porsha gonna say Graham and Whitney Houston. Why is Porsha this way? Why is she this way, girl? Heather, Graham, and Whitney Houston. I'm done with them. So they're getting ready to go to the lunch and whatnot. So they're sitting out there. It's Porsha, Giselle, and Heather. So Heather is like, yeah, we're going to try to get Leah drunk. That's the goal. That's going to be so much fun if we try to get Leah drunk. So Leah comes out and Giselle is like, what would happen to you if you drank? And she was like, oh, my life would be over. Like my life would just be ending. So Giselle is like, oh, okay. So now we know. Okay, Heather, we can't get her drunk because her life would end. And so Leah looking at Heather like, girl, why would you want to get me drunk? Like I am a recovering addict and I was an alcoholic. So why would you even want to do that? Heather comes out of her mouth and says, oh, I know, I read your book. Well, then, Heather, why would you be a trash can and try to get Leah drunk knowing that she's a recovering addict? That is disgusting. Do you know the downward spiral that somebody's life can take? I know you're trying to be cool and you thought Giselle was one of those girls. She's not. Giselle is gizzard all day long. So whatever you say to her, she is going to run it back. And aside from that, because I don't even want to put this on Giselle, okay? Because I am glad that she did say something to Leah. So Leah would know what type of person you are, Heather. Why would you want her to drink knowing that that's something that she just cannot do? This is a fool. They all meet for their first lunch and Giselle still thinks she's on Potomac, like I said. So she's trying to be in charge of the girls. They sit down, they're talking, they make a toast to sisterhood, but we all know they aren't exactly the sisterhood of the traveling pants. It's going to be a fool, and that's just that on that. So as they're sitting there, Giselle starts asking Porsha how she felt about having 7 million followers and building up her followers and everything like that and her money outside of Housewives. Porsha says she didn't even have Instagram when she first started The Real Housewives of Atlanta. She actually got it when she started The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And then she catapulted into this star and all of a sudden she's like, I have millions of followers. I need to monetize this. So then she started doing other things in order to make sure that she could sustain outside of Housewives because her followers was more than her money. So she had to make sure. And side note, they say that the Housewives, their first seasons, don't get paid well. And I was like, really? The math does not be mathing. I know people think because you see them on TV that they are making the coin. No. That's why originally the premise was for them to already have a cute coin so they could pay them peanuts. But then the helpers came on regular schmegular like Nene, eyes popping, lips busting, and she was just trying to keep up with the Joneses. And y'all remember when she said, I don't have to keep up with the Joneses. I am the Joneses. Yeah, after 4 or 5 seasons, and I love me some Lanithia Leaks, but the math was not mathing in the bank accounts, child. And don't think I forgot. Moving forward. So then Leah starts talking about how she doesn't know if Real Housewives of New York is coming back. Girl, I don't think they are. I think you can go and hang that up. And anyway, the group's dynamic was totally off. First of all, the age differences were very huge. And even on Potomac, there is an age difference, but not much. And all of them seem like they could be the same age. I don't know what it was about New York, but Leah didn't really fit in. It's fine. Baby, so then Giselle starts in with Heather and Whitney because, of course, they're an easy target. So let's get their mess going. Me personally, I wouldn't answer anything that Giselle asked me. And I mean nothing. But the heifers is going to ask, so here we go. So they start explaining how everybody hated Lisa Diet Coke Barlow and Whitney wanted Heather to have her back. And Heather didn't want to have her back because she wanted to prove to whoever that she was their friend. Child, let's move on. It wasn't interesting then, and it ain't interesting now. Moving forward. Basically, Giselle was stirring the pot, and it worked. Heather instantly started crying. Heather, suck it up, buttercup. You've been here for all of 2 seconds. Whitney feels like Heather wants to look good on TV. Now, I have to agree with Whitney. Even though Whitney gets on my last nerves, I have to agree with her. Because Heather, she just wants to be accepted. And she wants to look like this huge Salt Lake City Housewives star because everybody liked her first season. But see, the thing that Heather doesn't understand is, girl, you're changing. We liked you because you were just Heather. Okay, but now it's like you're trying to be somebody that you're not, and we don't like it. So after getting it started, Giselle is like, I wish they'd just be quiet. I mean, enough already. Okay, I'm tired of that. It's giving me indigestion. Girl, you started it. So after that mess of a lunch, they go into the confessional. The producer goes, Giselle, you started it. She was like, yeah, I know, but I'm just getting tired of hearing it. That's the type of person that she is. And I am hoping that Giselle does not make this a hard watch because I'm already not a fan. I already needed a break from her, especially after Potomac. I feel like I'm seeing her a little bit too soon. She already starting to piss me off because she's not letting things happen organically. She's in the middle of mess and she throws the lit dynamite into the crowd and watches everything explode. So she gonna get on my nerves. I just know she is. So after that mess of a lunch, they go to get ready for dinner. So they asked Pepsi what his first impression was of the ladies. Child, let's get into this. He said, Whitney is beautiful. She's very kind. Giselle, she's funny. Child, don't forget Messy. He said, Porsha, wow, wow, wow. Baby, he ain't never seen it. Shorty got ass on her. I can put my glass on her. I can pop a rubber band on her. Child, he could not believe he done seen a woman like Porsha, child. He said, Heather is a princess. Alexia, I don't know. Leah, she's calm, but she has a secret. And I'm going to figure out what that secret is. No, she has PMS. She ain't got no secret, child. He said Marisol dress is really nice. She's princess number 2. And Candiace is a superstar. Well, he got him right. Moving forward. In the next scene, all the ladies are ready for dinner and Candiace is late. So she was left behind. And who was in charge of making sure she got left behind? Giselle. Because Porsha was like, girl, you gonna leave your friend? She was like, she late. She always late. Let's just go. Because, she always late. Candiace, why are you late? You have braids. Girl, if you don't slap some foundation on and get on down the street. So at the dinner, they're all just sitting at the table and Marisol and Alexia look at each other and they start to speak Spanish. So Giselle is like, please speak English. Like, I'm afraid that you're talking about me. So the two of them are looking like, what? We're actually speaking Spanglish. Like, it's just a regular thing that we do. And so Giselle is like, well, I don't want to offend you or I don't want to upset you or something like that, she said, but the reason why I'm asking you that is because my girls, they speak fluent Spanish and they always use it to talk about me because they know that I cannot understand it. And so it makes me uncomfortable. So I'm just asking that you don't do that. First of all, you don't run nobody. That's number 1. Okay. You don't run nobody. You don't tell anybody what to do and how to do it. Now, I see both sides because if you're in a group of people and they're all speaking one language and then you turn to someone and you speak another language in the middle of the group, it could be seen as rude because they can't understand what you're saying. So I can understand her on that, but it was the way that she said it that was rude. And on top of that, it's not like they're in the middle of conversations, just looking at each other and talking about y'all in Spanish. So it's really a catch-22, but y'all already know Giselle gonna be Giselle no matter what. Okay, she gonna say and do whatever it is she says and does. And sometimes it comes across really crass. Giselle, please. She tried to explain it or whatever, so we shall see. So then Giselle says, let's play a game. It's called Impression Session. And see, that's why I think she's gonna get on my nerves because why are you in charge of the game? Like, ugh. She said, okay, so tell me what your favorite impression was and your least favorite impression was as far as the ladies are concerned. Another way to get drama going before they have a chance to eat. I can't stand when they do this when it's time to eat. Oh, I can't stand that. Giselle lit a match and threw it and blew up the whole dinner, child. But it backfired. So they're all talking about their favorite impressions and their least favorite impressions. And Leah said that her least favorite impression was Heather. Because Heather was trying to get her to drink knowing what she had gone through. And Heather's like, what? Oh, she acting confused like she don't know no better. You know exactly what's going on, Heather. You know exactly what you did. Okay. So after the comment, Leah was like, I'm going to go ahead and forgive Heather because I just don't want to go through all that, especially in Thailand. So I'm just going to forgive and forget. Giselle, this is Thailand. Nice try. Moving forward. So then Giselle pretends that she's an open book because they're talking about how Giselle always wants everybody else's business, but never wants to give up any of hers. Giselle is like, no, if you ask me a question, I'm going to answer it. Candiace is like, yeah, but you answer it in a vague type way. It's not like you just giving us the real. Okay. We all know you're not an open book. You an open lie, but not an open book. So then Whitney says that she thought that Candiace was going to be her least favorite impression because of how she came across mom shaming Ashley. So Candiace said, well, she would say things to me because I don't have biological children. So I feel like she was reverse mom shaming me. So Porsha, who wasn't even there, she tries to articulate exactly what Candiace meant. And Candiace said, no, I didn't mean it that way. I said what I said and I ain't changing it. She said I was mean to her because she was mean to me. Okay, it's exactly how I said it. It's exactly how I meant it. Candiace quickly said, nah, I said it to be mean and I meant it. Porsha said, oh, well then you just mean. And Candiace just leaned back and looked at her. Porsha, you weren't there. You were not there. Let's not even bring Ashley up. Let's not even bring Potomac up. I don't even want to talk about Potomac. Okay, I really don't even want to talk about Potomac. So let's just move on, honey. And that was the end of episode 1. When episode 2 opens up, it's the next day. Everyone is waking up, realizing that they are in Thailand. Pepsi is going around trying to find out what they want to eat for breakfast. So Porsha told him she wants an omelet with bacon, ham, tomato, and jalapeno peppers. He gonna say, jalapeno Pepsi? She said, nah, ain't none of you in my omelet. Baby, Pepsi want Porsha to take a refreshing beverage drink. Do y'all hear me? He wants some peach juice. Calm down, Pepsi. Okay? With your little fizzling self. Heather and Marisol are at breakfast. They're going to the elephant sanctuary. So they're talking about it and whatnot. So Pepsi goes to tell Leah that she's the host for the day. She said most of the excursions that they have, they're dinners with fighting. And so hopefully the elephants are able to calm the ladies because elephants have healing properties. I don't fool around outside with no animals, child. Because it's always something that can go down. Marisol is still walking around with these cockies. I really hate that she calls cocktails that. I really hate it. Okay? She really needs to see somebody. Because what is this? I mean, she did say her personality was in a bottle. So, but at the same time, girl, give it a rest. Oh, side note, I forgot to mention this in episode 1's review. Giselle admitted that Candiace is a responder. She is not one to go after you or be mean first. She is always responding to something, which is why when Porsha was trying to basically speak for Candiace, I'm like, girl, you don't even like her. And number 2, you don't know what you're talking about. Ashley is sneaky and she hides behind that halfway crooked smile and nobody realizes exactly what she does. Anywho, that's neither here nor there. That's just a side note from episode 1. Back to the mess. Marisol's still walking around with these cockies. Girl, go have a seat. So while they're waiting, Leah goes to the spiritual house to pray away her PMS. And baby, I can turn into the Incredible Hulk, so I feel you. It's like them PMS symptoms be right on that nervous system. Let me tell y'all something. The way that those symptoms can strike a nerve and you just go off on somebody, I totally understand. Leah was like, I really have to pray these things away because I'm PMSing real bad. When I looked at the dates for this trip, I realized that I was going to be on my cycle. So I have to get myself together so that I don't go off. Everyone is coming down to go on their excursion. And Candiace tells them tonight they're going to a lady boy performance or a drag show. Baby, Porsha comes down in her Tony the Tiger jumper looking great. Baby, she was giving them Decatur's finest. Do you hear me? Y'all know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of when they went on that trip and Porsha and Cordell were first introduced to the group and they all went on that trip and Phaedra came down in that black fishnet with that thong. That's exactly what it reminded me of. Not that she came down half naked or nothing like that. It's just the reaction of the ladies when they saw Porsha and all that body wrapped up in that jumpsuit. Moving forward. So Candiace said when season 5 happened, this is what she said in her confessional. She wasn't shocked that Porsha was on Monique's side. Okay, because they were friends. Porsha said she didn't understand how it got that deep. She was talking about the other night because Candiace was very offended by Porsha trying to speak for her and saying whatever it is she was saying about Ashley. She was like, I don't know how it got that deep or why she got that bothered. Girl, you already said that she was suing Monique to try to pay for her mama house. And then last night, you tried to put words in her mouth. That's why she mad. So Candiace said clearly she still has a problem with me. So Portia's like, I don't know what's wrong with her. Let me let her get some coffee in her first. Candiace is like, yeah, I don't let people that I don't know bother me. So good morning. Try y'all both lying. Moving forward. Porsha done been so far removed from housewives drama, honey, she don't even catch on. She just there because Tinsley backed out. She not about to be arguing with Candiace. And this is why people thought y'all were going to get into it, because y'all getting into it. Side note, Heather, what are you wearing in this confessional? It's giving tie-dye, burlap, sack, realness. Everything that has a tag on it don't mean it's meant to be bought. Okay, it's a fool. Just like the big Mario boots that everybody wearing around here. Them big red Mario boots, them shouldn't be bought either unless it's in a costume. And I hear dun 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 dun. That's the only time you should have them shoes. That's the only time you should have them shoes on. And Heather, you look a fool in this confessional. Girl, this is a mess. So they're on their way to the elephant sanctuary. And they're in two separate cars, two separate Sprinter vans or whatever they're in, child. Porsha is telling them, yeah, I'm Nigerian. She pronounced it Nigerian. Now, I may be ignorant, okay, and I might not know. Is that the way it's pronounced? Because I could have sworn it was Nigerian. I said Nigerian. I don't know, honey, because last time, look, I don't know. So y'all tell me down in the comments if it's pronounced Nigerian, because I was completely confused. But y'all know Porsha also wanted to know who was driving the train, because it can't be electric like what we have now. Who's driving the train? Somebody help Porsha. Somebody help a child. Moving forward. So Heather and Whitney said they found out that they were cousins by doing a DNA/ancestry.com type of thing. So here go Porsha talking about finding out that I was Nigerian. You know, it made me realize this is where my curves in my butt came from. Is that where it came from? Because the people on the street, the same people that Mama Joyce be listening to, baby, they said it came from Dr. Curves or some doctor. I'm just saying. It could be real. And you did post your receipts saying that your curves were curving before the curves were curving. But I'm just saying what the people on the streets were saying. She's like, yeah, but I need my little boobs so I can look more like my people. Porsha, please just be quiet, honey. Just be quiet. In the other car, Leah is talking to Alexia, and she is telling her about her ex-husband's male lover and how it all went down. Now, mind you, Leah is very engaged in this conversation because this is the first time that she is hearing what Alexia is saying, right? So they finally get to the sanctuary. Porsha talking about, this is perfect. How can you not heal and bring back the bond? The producer said, what bond? That's what I was trying to figure out. Girl, it's day 2. And you don't know nobody except Giselle. Child, Porsha just be talking, don't she? Moving forward. So they're giving them instructions on what to do and what not to do, and who to touch and who not to touch. Don't make no sudden moves. Don't do anything that you're not supposed to do because these elephants will react. And I'm with Candiace. She was like, you know what? Elephants are unpredictable, so I will stay away. Well, I know that's right. So they start feeding the elephants, and they start feeding them sugar cane and whatnot. And Giselle is feeding these elephants, making all these noises, talking about, ooh, 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 ooh. I was like, girl, what? Baby, them noises was ignorant. Candiace said, that's probably why she's not having sex. Because if she's making those noises, no man gonna want to have sex with that. And that sure ain't. And then she was, the way she had her legs spread, she was like, child, y'all just had to see it, honey. It was a fool. Those aren't exactly the moans that the men's want to hear. Moving forward. So then the elephant sneezed everywhere and sneezed right in Whitney's mouth. Y'all, I would have threw up. When I tell y'all I would have thrown the hell up, I would have thrown up. So they start giving the elephants a mud bath, and Porsha slapped that mud right on Giselle's butt. She was trying to figure out who did it. Then it turned into a full-on mud fight. Everybody's having fun. The lady's like, no running, no running. Porsha breaking all the rules. Porsha, you are about to start a stampede. Girl, stop all that damn running. I know the stench in that area was horrific. Okay, because they were like, oh, it smells like poop. And Porsha was like, this isn't mud. This is poop. I was like, oh, child. This scene would have had me sounding like Sheree when she was in that kayak. Y'all remember when she was like, there are bugs in this water. This water stinks. Y'all remember when Sheree was pissed and she was in that boat with Marlo? Oh, honey. Oh, child, I would have been Sheree all over again. So after the heifers rinse off, because Porsha done threw mud on everybody, they sit down to eat lunch. The fact that they have this Hennessy bottle everywhere Porsha goes is sending me. This Hennessy bottle has been in the villa, has been at Portia's bedside, and now it's over here on this table. Child, this is a fool. So they got some wine, right, but they don't have a bottle opener. So Porsha goes, y'all don't need that. Quit acting brand new. So they passed it down to her because they want to see what you gonna do, how you gonna open this. So she starts sucking on the top. So they all looking at her like, whoa, easy there, killer. So Candiace gonna say in her confessional, ma'am, Porsha, I like you and I know CPR, but I'm not fishing a cork from the bottom of your throat. The way I cackled, I rewound that part like 4 or 5 times. Baby, that was so funny to me. I do not know why that tickled me so, but it hit me in my funny bone. And I was like, ooh, that is so funny, honey. Not you gonna not fish a cork from the bottom of her throat. Ooh, that was so funny. So after playing with them for like 4 or 5 minutes, here go Porsha. Y'all so dumb. Now how y'all think I'm gonna open that? Girl, they don't know what kind of tricks you got up your sleeve, honey. They don't hang out in the ATL. But I'm telling y'all right now, it ain't no way that I would drink that wine. Not you done put your mouth all over the top of it. Y'all, ain't no way. Ain't no way. So then they start this game and they had a question. What would you choose, food or sex? And Porsha's like, I don't need the penetration. Honey, I know that's right. I would definitely choose food. I can get what I need in other ways. It shall be all right. So Leah's like, I'm just so happy that we can talk about sex freely because on my show, we couldn't do that. Yeah, because all Ramona and them wanted to talk about was those 3 men that her, Luann, and Sonia were sharing and passing around. That is all that they wanted to talk about. Those same 3 men. Who cares? So Leah then asked them to play a game. What's the best thing about being a housewife and what's the worst? So Candiace said, it's an honor to be the second all-black cast, but the worst is social media because they be tearing her up. So Giselle gonna say, well, you bring it on yourself. Ma'am, you'll be quiet, okay? Because you have no room to talk, especially after this season. So Candiace said, no, they come for me first. Oh, she already know that because she already told Porsha, or was it Leah? She told somebody that you are the responder, but you're not the person that's going to say the mean thing first. And y'all know what I noticed about Giselle on here? I noticed that Giselle is one of those people where I can talk about my castmates, but you better not talk about my castmates. That's what I'm getting from her on this. Now, when they all get in the mix and it's just all the Potomac people, it's every man for themselves except Robin. But in this setting, I feel like she felt like that in the very beginning of this season. Like, don't y'all say anything. I'ma say it. But then we gonna soon see that they gonna fall the hell apart too. Moving forward. Heather said the best thing is everything. She's like, I'm just so happy to be a housewife because it gave me new hope. Like, I didn't have direction. I didn't have anything. And I appreciated her being real with her answer because some of them act like they could take it or leave it. Girl, this is not the housewives of yesteryear. If you get chosen to be a housewife, you better give your all because you can definitely be replaced. So Alexia said, well, the biggest thing is that we came back after 8 years. Like, what other franchise do you know that can say that? After 8 years, we came back? So Heather gets in her confessional and tries to throw shade, talking about that's cool, but nobody is asking questions about you. Skirt. Heather, you shut up. Salt Lake City can be canceled any day of the week and nobody would miss you. Miami had a stellar season. Okay, it was the best of any franchise and it wasn't even on Bravo. It was on Peacock where you sit right now. Your franchise is the worst on Bravo. Okay, so you really need to be quiet. Okay, because you don't know what you're talking about, honey. You saying stuff that don't even make no sense. Moving forward. So Whitney said her best and her worst are the same because it's the amount of growth that she's had and the amount of learning about herself that she had to do. And she didn't even think that she was going to be picked to be a housewife. So then Porsha comes in and she's like, the sisterhood of watching someone's reality, that's what's the biggest thing for me. And when I watch a reality show, I want to see the raw and the real. Well, I wonder what she thought about all of that contrived mess her friend Giselle did this season. I wonder what she feel about that. So she tells us about how she was going through postpartum depression when she was filming that season after she had Pilar. And child, not to mention Dennis was cheating. That was really tough. And I really related to Porsha on that season because postpartum depression ain't no joke. And let me tell y'all something. I had it all the way up until my son was 5. It doesn't end just because the baby turned 1. So, woo, it's gone. No. It was awful, y'all. It was a dark place. So the fact that Porsha is speaking so candidly about it, I appreciated that. She got super emotional. She's like, I didn't even want to film, y'all. I couldn't even turn my lights on. Like, I didn't want to do nothing. She said, but then a producer named Joy came to her and told her, listen, you can do this season. And she was like, no, I don't want to do it. And the producer told her, just show up. You ain't got to talk. You ain't got to do nothing. It's okay. Okay, we're going to be here for you to tell your story because you're going to come out of it. So you're going to be good. Don't even worry about it. So Porsha said the experience actually forced her to jump back into things, and she's happy that she did film that season because it brought her out of that dark place. So then Marisol starts reminiscing on her mom, Elsa, and how she was a part of the show. And she didn't know if she wanted her to be a part of the show because she didn't want people to make fun of her because of what she had done to her face. Now, the story is this. Her mom had a heart issue, so she couldn't get anesthesia. So she started getting fillers to fill her face. Now, they show pictures of her when she was a lot younger, and she was beautiful. So when she started getting these fillers, she got deformed. And so Marisol was worried that the viewing public would kind of tear her apart. When I tell you, Elsa used to be the best part of Miami. Now, I watched Miami 11 years ago when it was first on. And that woman made every scene that she was in. She made every scene. And I wish she would have known how beautiful she was before. You know what? It's really crazy what you see when you look in the mirror. It's like other people see you as this beautiful masterpiece, and you may look at yourself and say, oh, I need to fix that. Or, oh, I need to feel that. Or, oh, I need to trim that down. But other people see you like you really are. It's just crazy. I'm glad that she shared that though, because that was a cautionary tale. And also it made me miss Elsa. And I remember when I heard that she had passed away, I was like, oh my gosh. When I tell you that franchise wouldn't have been that franchise without Elsa, it just wouldn't have been. So she says she's happy that she got to experience it because she loved filming. And so she's happy that she got to do what she loved. So then Leah said that she had hesitation coming on the trip because she had a bad season. Her grandmother was dying and nobody told her she could go. Not a castmate, not a producer. Tell you could go. Girl, please. They would have been looking for me in the daytime with a flashlight. I wish I would. Giselle is like, you have to take responsibility. You don't ever blame a producer. Whitney said, we have the same production company. There's no way that they would have told her to stay. They could have said whatever they wanted to say. I'm leaving. If anyone close to me is near death, if you cough too hard and you need me to come, I'm coming. Now, you can follow me with this camera if you want to, or you can stay back. Either way, I'm leaving. And that's just that on that. Have Andrew hit me on my cellular device because I'm gone. Child, I wish I would. Moving forward. So Giselle said people don't see them as human beings. Actually, we do see you as human beings, Giselle. Yes, we do, Gizzard. You have that fan base that you do. Housewives, that is, because I don't know who's a reasonably shader. Honey, I don't know who they are. But there are some. You guys have that fan base because we see you as human. That is why everybody was pissed that you duped us and gypped us this season. Because just like what Porsha just said about us wanting to see the raw and the real, that's for real. That's what we want to see. Now, sometimes you don't act like a human, but we do see y'all as humans. So they toast to tears and head on back to the villa. So Candiace tells them in the van, because I told y'all they're driving in two separate vans. She tells Leah, Marisol, and Alexia that her and Chris are not in a good space. They had the hugest fight of their marriage before she left because of their opposing schedules. Like they can never see each other. Then he started working at this restaurant and it's just too much. It's just too much going on. And they had this big, huge fight. I am so proud of Candiace for not sharing that information in front of Giselle, because she would have surely used it against her for season 8. I am so happy. But then Candiace gonna do something that makes me not so happy. Side note, Candiace cried at the table with no triangular clinics. Growth. Baby, growth. Do you hear me? So they get back to the villa smelling like elephant funk. And Portia's asking Pepsi for KFC. She's like, listen, I guess the name made her want some KFC, child. She's like, can you give me some KFC with coleslaw and mashed potatoes? Honey, I know that's right. Where the KFC at? Because I need a little appetizer before dinner. But Porsha, didn't y'all just eat? But anyway, they all go to their rooms to get ready for the night. And Heather is in there giving Whitney a sew-in. I said, what is happening? Not a sew-in. So they start talking about their issues. And y'all, I do not want to go through all 7 episodes hearing about these two and their Salt Lake City drama. I don't want it. I don't give a damn. I don't watch your season for this very reason. And now I got to sit over here and listen to y'all talk about this. I don't want to hear it. So they're fighting about their friendship and their cousinship. So after fighting about it, they talked about it and reached a resolve, at least I think. Both of them get on my nerves. And I used to like Heather, but I mean just both of them. I'm trying, they're going to go back to fighting as soon as filming start. Moving forward. In the next scene, Pepsi came through with the KFC. Pepsi is my kind of concierge, honey. It ain't nothing that he won't do, honey. He gonna move mountains for P. Willie. He like them thick with it. He's like, let me get the chicken for the baby so she can stay thick with it. So they're all getting ready. Giselle got this grill in. Giselle, girl, why that wig ain't got no part? Now y'all know how I feel about a bad wig. She really just rests on her eyes. She really just rests on her eyes with getting by. She don't give a damn. Giselle, that hair, I don't even know if that's hair, honey. I just don't. And Porsha, you ain't real. You ain't real. Because why you let Giselle go out with that Tyler Perry play wig? Why? I know you got an extra Go Naked wig on you. I know you do. Child, this is just a mess. So they go down for dinner. They're sitting around and Candiace tells them, in honor of the lady boys, she thinks they should all get ladyboy names. Hers is Petty LaBelle. So Giselle is like, I would have given her Crybaby Candiace, Drama Mama, or Trash Can Mouth, but not Petty. So Giselle looks at Candiace and she's like, but you're not Petty. So then Candiace goes, oh no, but I'm going to get there. So don't worry. I'm going to get Petty a little bit later. So next is Giselle. She said, in honor of Karen saying you ain't got no man and you can't keep no man, your name is She Need a Man. Now she need a man. Candiace said, well, you know, her name could have been Rude Paul, Anita Stylist, Dummy Moore, Eartha Ritis. I mean, shall I go on? Well, honey, tell us how you really feel. It could have been a liar. Honey, it could have been everything. It really could have been. So Giselle is like, well, I'm not in a relationship by choice. Okay, I like variety. So Alexia, her name is Havana White. Marisol is Crystal Ball. Heather and Whitney. They're Snow Right and Snow Wrong. And then comes P. Willie. Porsha said, what's my name? Am I next? Porsha, hold your horses. So then Candiace goes, well, word on the curb is that you were taking people's man. So your name is She Take a Man. Oh my goodness. What is wrong with these helpers? What is wrong with them? So Porsha goes, well, can you take a man if he already free? Okay, Porsha. So Porsha was like, yeah, I'm just a little bit underwhelmed and I'm actually bored. Girl, you tried it. Giselle was pissed about her name, honey, as she should be, but that's what you get. But she felt like Candiace put all the petty in her and Giselle's name and didn't give any of the other ladies any smoke. And did. She made sure y'all got the shadiest names. So Giselle goes, yeah, I don't just be meeting random men. Here go Leah. Yeah, stranger danger is very real. And also on the apps, I mean, I have like a hard time because the men have micro penises and I just feel like they need to say their size on the dating apps. Leah, not you being a size queen. Child, she couldn't wait to talk about sex. That's all she been talking about since she got here. So they get to the table and Candiace just could not hold it. And I was like, oh my gosh. She's like, yeah, so me and Chris are having a rough patch. I was like, Candiace, no. Do not give Giselle any intel or satisfaction. Why would you say that? So she was like, do y'all think that the shows affect your relationship? Now, the married people or the people in a relationship at the table ain't said nothing. Giselle, of all people at the table, she pipes up. And she's like, yeah, I mean, there's no way that it can't. I mean, you got to take the good with the bad. Ma'am, you are the bad. You and your fabricated lies, y'all are the reason that people's marriages crumble. What are you talking about? The fact that Candiace is even sitting there listening to Giselle just baffles me. Coming off of season 7, I wish I would listen to Giselle. I wish I would listen to her tell me anything. So then Giselle has the nerve to say, yeah, you know, like men who aren't doing right in their marriage, Michael Darby, it highlights that. Well, you were trying to highlight Chris. Ashley too, with her little lying friend. I just can't with this. I just really cannot. Let's just move on, child. She said any bad behavior they have will be scrutinized. Giselle, please be quiet. So then they asked Porsha to tell her story. So Porsha said, nah, I want Candiace to tell it. Honey, since you know so much, why don't you tell it? So Candiace said, well, what I knew was you met your ex because you were on the show and you became friends with his ex-wife. And 2 minutes later, you were with her husband and y'all were dating. And the street said you stole somebody's man. So Porsha said, no, when I was on the show, they brought Fallon on. And then I met Simon, but I didn't realize at the time that I had already known him. Fast forward, she left him. And so then Giselle chimes in and she's like, let me try to save Porsha. Basically, Simon's wife was cheating on him and they were getting a divorce. So Porsha slid in. So Porsha said after that, he filed for divorce. So then I hit him in the DM and I said, I'm just praying for you and hope everything is going well. And then he hit me back saying that he's in Atlanta and he wanted to see me. But I said, okay, I need to see your divorce papers first. Sure you did. So Leah's like, yeah, you were very thorough. Girl. She's like, yeah, I mean, I have to. I'm a public figure and I don't want to represent that. She was like, yeah, so she signed it, but it wasn't finalized. It was just sitting on the judge's desk. That's what it was. Candiace is like, girl, now I like you, but this ain't what the people are saying. This is not what the saints are saying. Porsha know that's a lie. Let me see the DM. Because why he just hit you up talking about he want to chill? It was something other than prayers in that DM and you ain't fooling me. So Porsha was like, yeah, he was free. And then we got engaged in under a month. And like the hardest thing was like my fans being upset with me and everything. That's because they don't know the story. But ma'am, we watched Porsha's Family Matters and you still didn't tell the story. So the story is just that, a story. It's looking like a lie. She's like, the only thing I can do is just stand in my truth. I stand in my truth. Okay. So here go Heather. I mean, I would take a man. Heather, if you could, pipe down. Okay, you want to be accepted so badly. Just please pipe down. So then Alexia brings up what happened with her ex. So Heather is like, ooh, this story is so good. So Leah's like, I mean, it's a little bit of a snooze fest. Leah feels like Alexia is on a constant loop and talks about the same things over and over and over again and never varies from the script. In the middle of her talking, Leah is like, I am so bored right now. So you know it's Marisol to the rescue. She's like, no, this is an amazing story. What do you mean you're bored? Alexia is like, oh, okay, well, if you want to go back to talking about your micro penises, then you can go ahead and do that. Leah's like, no, I mean, we already talked about that. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude to you, but I'm just a little bored. So Marisol is like, no, you just got through saying you were bored and you said it was boring. Leah said, girl, don't try to get me in a fight with Alexia because you're mad because your stomach hurts. These heifers could never make it nowhere else. Not you mad because your stomach hurt. She was like, it's not my fault that you drink tequila for breakfast or something like that, she told her. I was like, what is happening? Now, to be fair, y'all were talking about spouses and Giselle actually brought it up. She actually said something that prompted Alexia to tell that story and she just elaborated. But I do feel like Alexia does repeat the same story 30 times. But that's neither here nor there. That's just a side note. It's rude as hell for you to just outright say, this is boring. Like, can you guys get drunk or something? That's what y'all do in New York. And that ain't fun either. That's why that franchise is gone. So just let the heifers talk, child. So they fussing and we will pick back up with episode 3. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.